CTFO. I guess it's time to be here. It's my job to keep y'all awake after lunch, and I just realized that's not the right slide presentation. Oh well. I'm here to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is nutrition. It's been a lifelong passion of mine. I've been in the practice of integrative medicine for the last 34 years now. And what integrative medicine is, because most people don't really understand that term, is it getting to the underlying causes that are the reasons why you develop illness. And one of those causes is deficiencies in various trace minerals. Now, you could be a healthy individual. This is all about the phytocannabinoids, not about the new vitamins. Sorry, guys. So I'll just wing it. So basically, if you don't have vitamins and minerals in adequate amounts in your body, then your enzyme systems start to break down. They're not functioning optimally. You may feel okay. You may be healthy in all other regards, but you're kind of a sitting duck for one more stress or one more infection, one more thing to hit you, and then you'll develop symptoms. I frequently work with a principle called what I call the threshold phenomenon. It wasn't my idea. It was a holistic doc from 30 years ago taught me this. That basically, whenever you're deficient, your reserves go down, and then you have a harder time dealing with more stressors in your body. And when you exceed that threshold, you develop cancer, you develop hypertension, you develop heart disease, you get a cold, you get some other infection. And so those trace nutrients are really super important to make sure that we're adequate, because they are the building blocks, literally the cofactors, things that make your body run. So the National Academy of Sciences, which is a pretty austere, conservative body, a number of years ago, actually, the data that I have on slides, if they did get them up for us, showed that between 40 to 80% of the population is deficient in one or more trace minerals or vitamins. And if you add that up, virtually 98% of the population is deficient in one or more nutrients. And there's a number of reasons that I'm going to go into why that is. But can you imagine 98% of the population? Now, what does that mean? Okay, if you're deficient in magnesium, which I always say is my favorite mineral, if you can have a favorite mineral, anybody else here have a favorite mineral? Yeah, I have a couple in the back there. Magnesium is awesome. It's a cofactor in over 300 enzyme systems in the body. So imagine if you're among the 60 or 70% of the population that doesn't have enough magnesium in your body, what's going to go wrong? Asthma, migraine headaches, high blood pressure, heart attacks from coronary artery spasm, muscle spasms all over your body. And if you have a pain problem, you can take CBD, but if you don't have magnesium, CBDA, excuse me, I correct myself, CBDA, and you're going to get some pain relief, but you're still going to have that spasm if you're magnesium deficient. So that's the power of just one mineral. If you don't have enough chromium or vanadium, you're going to develop diabetes or blood sugar issues, metabolic syndrome, you're going to gain weight. On and on and on and on. I can go into all of the different nutrients, but the bottom line is these things are really super important, and you don't know about them. You haven't been trained to understand why they're important in your body. Most of you, I would say. There were studies done on spinach, for instance, and the quality of the soil. From 1940 to the 1970s, the amount of iron in spinach went from like 156 milligrams per, I think it was 100 grams of spinach. And by the 1970s, it had dropped to like 40 milligrams. And by the 1990s, it was 2 or 3 milligrams. I'm sorry, this is on my slide. I keep hoping they're going to show up magically. It's a great slide because it's pretty dramatic. And here we are, 20 years, almost 30 years out from 1990. Imagine what it is now. So when your doctor says, oh, you don't need to take a multivitamin, you don't need to take a multi-mineral. You get everything you need from your food. Well, I'm here to tell you that ain't so. And it's not me that's saying that, it's the government. I wrote that research. It's research data from the NIH, et cetera. You cannot, even if you eat 100% organic, 100% local, you cannot get everything you need from your food. And the reason being is that the soil quality has declined over the years dramatically. So what they use as fertilizer for most, other than organic foods, is that they use potassium, nitrite, and phosphorus, and that's it, which makes big, healthy, beautiful plants and vegetables. But unfortunately, you as a human need a whole lot more than that. So the soil has been depleted over and over again of all your trace minerals, your magnesium, your chromium, your manganese, vanadium, etc. So you're not so healthy, even though the plant looks healthy that you just ate. In 1936, there was a Senate report, so it was part of the National Register, that said that at that point they were already concerned about the soil quality and the depletion of nutrients. That's 83 years ago, right? Am I doing the math right? Wow. Give or take, a long time ago. They started to be concerned about this. And yet you don't know it, okay? You don't know that. You say, oh, I'm eating well. And the problem is organic food is only has to be farmed organically for 3 years. So that soil is still depleted and hasn't been repleted yet in many cases. So you can't get it from your food, okay? And the other thing that's happening is that as we process the food, you know, when you eat anything that's white flour, white sugar, white rice, that's been devoided of all nutrients. All the B vitamins are out of it. You're not getting a whole lot of trace minerals. When you cook vegetables and you know, process and cook things, you're going to lose nutrients into the water. So even if the nutrients were there to begin with, you're not going to get them because they're going to be lost in the cooking process and destroyed in the cooking process. This goes on and on. There's more and more people who are having intestinal problems, maybe gluten intolerance, which interferes with their ability to absorb nutrients. There's, you know, people that have been exposed to glyphosate or Roundup, which destroys the gut microbiome, the good bacteria in your gut that keep you healthy. That's getting depleted, and then you can't absorb. You know, you're basically malabsorbing your nutrients out of, you know, and not getting that into your body. It's basically just going right on through. So there's a whole host of reasons why we need a good quality multivitamin and mineral. And I, you know, being at this 34 years, I'm really super picky about what my patients take, because if you're buying a vitamin that's like some of the big names, you know, Centrum, One a Day, etc., they're bound in one of two things usually. Carnauba wax. Anybody know what carnauba wax is used for? Wax in your car so the water beads up. Okay. The other thing they bind it with is shellac. Anybody know what shellac does? It keeps your furniture from the water soaking in. So, there they are. Cool. And all kinds of binders and fillers that interfere with the body's ability to absorb those vitamins. So for me, I'm very picky about the ingredients in the vitamin, and I'm very picky about the way that's bound together. And we're seeing people get sicker and sicker and sicker just simply because they can't get nutrition. And they'll go to Costco or BJ's or whatever, and they'll buy the cheapest thing they can find, and they think, oh, I'm covering my bases. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. So what we've done is come up with a solution for you, which I think is going to be one of the best multivitamins that has ever been created. I was very honored to be asked to put my 2 cents in the formulation here. But to me, what's really critical, and I got very excited a year ago. How many of you were in Vegas last year? Good number, good number. Well, when they announced the 10xPURE, I was ecstatic because I didn't even know what it was yet, but I knew that it was going to improve bioavailability. 10x is a partially hydrophilic, partially hydrophobic molecule, so it's fat soluble on one side and water soluble on the other side. And the technical term for that is an ionophore, but what it means is that when it gets to your intestinal lining, that 10xPURE is going to take everything it's carrying and move it through that intestinal lining. Okay? That's huge, because now all of a sudden we know you can absorb the nutrients that are in there. Okay? The other thing is that when it gets delivered through the bloodstream to your cell, which is really where the site of action is of those vitamins and minerals, right? That it's going to get absorbed much more efficiently because of the 10xPURE can carry it across the cell membrane. So it's actually going to get delivered to the cell where you need it. Because a lot of times I see people, we're giving them vitamins, and they're just either not absorbing it. Sometimes we even do IV. We do a lot of IV nutrients in our office because somebody just can't get it in through their GI tract. But still then, it's got to get delivered to the tissue, and it's got to get into the tissue. So there's a couple other really important things that went into the formulation of this wonderful multivitamin, ultimate multivitamin and mineral. It has all the B vitamins. Now, B vitamins, the B spectrum vitamins have to be in balance because otherwise it kind of imbalances your system. And B vitamins are really critical for energy. If you're not getting enough B vitamins, your energy is going to be compromised. In fact, the people that make all those energy drinks know that because they all have tons of B vitamins in them, right? Pantothenic acid, which is for your adrenal gland, riboflavin, thiamine, they're all important for energy production. Methylfolate. This is huge, guys. There's 40% of the population has a gene variation called the MTHFR. Okay, one or more of those gene variants. And what that means is it can increase your risk for depression, for hormonal issues, for detoxification and metabolism issues, which could lead to cancer, things like breast cancer, and also heart disease by raising homocysteine levels. Someone who has, and 40% of you sitting in this room have that gene, okay? So if you take regular folic acid, you can't utilize it. And in fact, it will deplete, it will actually induce a folate deficiency because you can't use it. You can't absorb it and you can't use it if you have that gene. Most folic acid is synthetic. And there's been some association with colon cancer and synthetic folic acid. So when I was asked to comment, I'm like, guys, we need to have methylfolate in this vitamin. And it's a costly ingredient, but we have to have it. Because this is the state of science right now. The other thing that's kind of a pet peeve of mine is I've evaluated various multivitamins and supplements over the years for my patients, is that a manufacturer will throw a couple of, like a dusting of this or that in there, and basically it's not a therapeutic dose. It's not going to correct those deficiencies. It's not going to help you to bring you up to sufficiency. And to me, it's very critical that if we're going to put vitamin K in there, we put a therapeutic dose. If we're going to put magnesium in there, there has to be enough that it's worthwhile doing. Otherwise, don't even put it in because it's not going to really do you any good. It's just window dressing to say, oh, we've got this and this. So this is all the optimal amounts that you can get. Now remember, this is 2 gel caps. This is a twice daily multi, which is really easy to take. A lot of times when I have somebody that's really deficient, I might have them take 6 a day to get everything that they need. But not everybody's going to take 6 pills a day, okay? This is a twice a day multi, and we were able to get optimal nutrient levels in there for, of the things that we found were critical, that I felt was critical. Trace minerals, as I said up before, have been depleted from the soil, and that's a major deficiency that we pretty much all have. Most of you in the room have, okay? Even if you've been taking a multivitamin, you probably still have some deficiencies, okay? The other thing that's really critical when you take a trace mineral is that it has to be in what we call a chelated form, which means you've bound that mineral to either an organic acid or an amino acid. So it's kind of like a hook that you've put on that tiny little atom. You've put this handle on it so the body can absorb it a lot more quickly and bring it in and out of the tissues. For example, anybody know what milk of magnesia is? You know what it's for? Everybody? Well, that's magnesium oxide. How much do you think gets absorbed if it's all going through your GI tract, helping to move things along a little bit, okay? Not very much gets absorbed. Most of it stays in the GI tract. Same is true for iron and a host of other supplements. If it's bound to the correct chelating agent like glycinate or taurate or malate, all of a sudden the absorption goes to 50, 60, 70% just by adding that amino acid. It's much cheaper to put calcium carbonate and magnesium oxide in a supplement. CTFO won't do that. CTFO is going to give you minerals that will go. If I have a favorite mineral, I also have a favorite vitamin, and that's vitamin D3. D3 is the active vitamin D. Don't take vitamin D2, it's the inactive form, it's not going to do you any good. We have vitamin D3, and this is huge too, guys. Vitamin K, and we have 3 minutes? We have 3 minutes. And there's 3 forms of vitamin K. Vitamin K1, MK7, and MK4. And when you get the proper balance of those 3 forms of vitamin K, not only is it anti-aging, but it is also helps to move calcium out of places that it shouldn't be, like your coronary arteries, for instance, to where it should be, which is your bones for to prevent osteoporosis and maintain bone density, which vitamin D also helps tremendously with bone density as well as immune function. People don't know that. If you get a sufficient level of vitamin D, your immune system is strong, you won't get sick, you won't get colds or flu or anything like that. So again, CTFO has a commitment to providing 24 key nutrients in significant daily amounts. It's GMP certified, which is good manufacturing practices. You guys have heard that before. To me, that's really critical, because if that's not on there, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if you're getting what you're paying for. Of course, it's gluten-free, it's keto-friendly, it's part of Adam's keto package. And there's no fillers or binders, no shellac, no carnauba wax, no none of that. It's in a gelatin cap, which is very easy for the body to digest. And it's manufactured in this country. And of course, most importantly, it's got the 10xPURE in it, which is amazing. I mean, we've never had a multivitamin before this. It actually is going to help your body, aid your body to get it into the tissues where it needs to go. So to me, this is just a whole nother level of multivitamin, which is why I guess they call it ultimate multivitamin. And there it is, guys.
Yay!
If I can get this thing to flip.